Hello there, grown black folks talk. Um, the height element, and why this also is a conversation that skilled black women don't need to be in. I decided to go with this idea about Cassie and Puff Daddy and the high value man a different way. All goo gobs of men, apparently under 6 feet tall, are all whining about how women only go for men over 6 feet tall. The last thing you need in your life is a man who thinks he does not have value because he would not have been the chosen stud on a slave market block somewhere versus someone who's over 6 feet tall. I need you to understand that's where that comes from. And the reason why we as black women go for that, because those were the women our foremothers were studied with. Forced, not by choice, forced. And then sometimes you were forced by men like Thomas Jefferson, also over 6 feet tall. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, they get a lot of play, 6'4" and 6'3", respectively. James Madison, who wrote the Constitution, does not get as much airtime. Ugly as sin and 5'4". So there is some truth to that the images of men that have been put up in front of us as desirable are over a certain height. And so short men are frustrated. Well, this is because and there is some correlation. If you need jobs, then the taller and more handsome you are, it's just like being a woman who's a nice petite size and also beautiful in the face and figure. There is pretty privilege. That's true. But the reason that you think this controls your chances in all of your life is because you think that you are controlled by having to get a job by someone who doesn't care what you look like and whether you live or die. Which brings me back to what I'm talking about this week. Black women, you need skill-based money. And you need skill-based money so you can eliminate all men who think of themselves as still on an auction block, being bought and sold by men and women more powerful than themselves. They were her property. 40% of women were slave owners. Also, 40% of white women were slave owners. Also, the other percentage that were married to white men were very interested in him maintaining his plantation. And again, because Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were that tall, respectively, as founders, we kind of have this idea that those things go together. But again, a man over 6 feet tall who thinks he's something special because he's over 6 feet tall, again, is measuring himself by that old slave owner's value. And you don't want any such man in your life, tall or short. Now, a little bit of information about me. I have dated men between 5'4" and 6'3". Frank was 6'3". That wasn't why. His why was that he pursued me in an honorable, kind, caring way. And had he lived, he didn't. He passed at the age of 37. Sergeant Love, 6'1", but he pursued me. And if he had been, we got to swap about a decade in age either way. Maybe. But notice what I said there. They had the confidence to come after me. Now, I've dated 5'4" to 6'3". And one of the two 5'4s had the confidence to be around and let me know the door was open. There are other reasons that things went wrong. What I want you to understand is these men, but he was less secure, and as time has passed, I've realized why. Being 5'4" was actually both of the two that were 5'4". They were more insecure, but that didn't have anything to do with me. I never cared about their height. Anybody who's more than 5'3" is taller than I am. I never cared about that. They also sabotaged their own relationship with me. Now, obviously, that was not God's plan for my life. So nothing that anybody had done worked. One of the two is married. Of the 5 black men that I made my best effort with, 5'4" is the only one who's married. Now, it wasn't me. It wasn't all me. I dated across the spectrum. I've dated all heights. It's never about that. It was like, how did you come at me? Did you come respectfully? Did you come willing to show me that you could protect and provide? And even then, sometimes it was hairy because, I knew people long enough to have job situations and everything else. It had nothing to do. And of course, it also had to do with the fact that I did not have to worry about whether they could support me or not. That made it a little bit easier for to go for their job thing because, I have skill-based money. So I didn't have to care about the fact that your 5'4" won't let you do well in the job market, except both of them are doing just fine. One of them has crossed the verge to quote unquote high value man, and the other one could if he wanted to. Height really isn't a problem in the value of a man because it's not about that. Men, like women, are human beings in whom God has placed a living soul. They have thoughts, emotions, volition. Human beings fully. It's not about the things that slave owners measured when they came to the auction block. But see, the challenge is, as I've said in the previous video, men see themselves on the money, which is why they have this relationship with it. For reference, back in Roman times, Caesar's face was on the money, and the altar to the Caesar was on every corner. So even using the money was considered an act of worship. This is why in the Bible the Jews refused to use Roman money for religious things. They had their own temple coins. So men and their relationship with money has to do with seeing themselves as the medium by which women and children and other lesser men can live. This is why they default so quick to market talk. Like everything else is on sale to them because, who's number one in the society? Who's on the $1 bill? The most ubiquitous, George Washington. So this is what happens there. And sometimes men get lost in the sauce too. I'm not without compassion for these men who think they're less than because they're less than they're less than 6 feet tall. There are men out there who are literally getting leg lengthening to try to get up to 6 feet tall. I'm sitting back here like, sir, do you not understand that when you are in your declining years and your body is no longer putting out the collagen that it is today, you do know there's a very good chance your legs are gonna tear themselves apart under that kind of strain. All he's trying to do is be able to date more women today. As Bishop Lamore Whitehead found out, you act enough of a fool as a man, your wife, your daughters, your mama, your sister, none of them will be with you. They will drop you like a hot potato. And leg lengthening doesn't help you with all those extra STDs you're gonna pick up. I'm just saying. Leg lengthening is not gonna help you get all these other women and lose your mind with all that child support payment you're gonna have to make. And baby, if you rip both calves and you can't work and you can't make it back to court to get those orders lessened, baby, you going to prison with ripped calves. It is the height of a man's character that matters. And one of the reasons, Black women, that we need to get skill based money is so that we do not feel so desperate that we cannot afford to wait to find one. So we can think we can also begin to operate in different environments, take a little bit more money to get into. As I sit here and I plan out this summer and especially into next year because of the way the crypto bull run will, I will be able to afford, and in fact, I can do it now, except what I'm doing right now is investing in various things that have to do with the promotion of this book. But if I wanted to, I can afford to go. In fact, I walk through neighborhoods for free where the houses are worth twice as much as what I live in. And I have let those men watch me lose weight. I told y'all in the previous video, all I gotta do is wear some red, this scarf and some red, or some very bright purple, and just let it happen, y'all. Because they see me doing my work, even if I'm not exactly the size they want. And like I said, if you're 5'4", you taller than me. Even if I'm not exactly the size they want, they're gonna see me get there. They're gonna see me continue to get there this summer like they did last summer. I have access because I can afford to live here in San Francisco. I have access. Money gives you access. Learning how to have skill-based money also makes you more attractive to men who are of the same mind. All men are not out here thinking that they belong on a slave market metric. Some men are ready to live a quiet and peaceful life or a balanced and yet exciting, entertaining, adventurous life with the right woman. Now, we gonna do that in our aunties at some point because I think, to me, Conference of Love's been talking about it on her channel, but after we break down Project 125, I would really think that we need to hear about the trend that's going on in which different kinds of men are hoping that Black women will open up to them, and how you still need to vet every single one of them because vetting 101 from Confidence with Love is coming. She's gonna tell her how she vetted her white husband because you got to vet over there on Twitter. I see these interesting gentlemen all the time, and they are just as hateful and cruel and as ugly. But the difference is they can do more to you with impunity because their image is on the money. And their friends from Project 2025 are basically out there planning to make it so that a woman has no alternative than to put up with the foolery. So you got to be careful every which way. But I need you to understand that the more skill-based ability you have to provide for yourself, the less you have to put up with anyone. You do not have to put up with men who are insecure and upset and because of what God did not give them. So they can't compete with other groups of men. They are tired of watching women have the option to walk away, and they mad at God because they 5'9". You ain't got to put up with any of it. If I choose to make myself available for romance, I assure you that I will not be dealing with one of these two things. I will not be dealing with a man based on his height, and I will not be dealing with a man insecure about whatever it is he has going on. That I require him to resolve before I come into the picture. I will not be thrown under the bus because man cannot have his way with his fellow men, other women, and God. See, this is what we have this for. Bless block and change the lock. But right now, I got stuff to do. I'm not even going to be bothered right now. Unless of course I run into someone as I'm out in the great outdoors and, enjoying. Hold on a second. This is my reality. Not every day, but quite often. Okay. See, if I meet a man somewhere out there who can convince me, because I have skill-based money, y'all. This is my reality many, many days. Of course, I can't find it now that I'm looking for it, but here we go. This is my reality. Hold on just a second. Okay. Well, if I can get the computer to work with my reality. See, there we go. See, this is my reality. And being at peace to enjoy this. Blue Heron Lake, San Francisco. Being at peace to have time to walk through these beautiful environments. If I should be the man of this mind in the middle of this kind of situation, and who can walk peacefully and add to the peace and enjoyment that I have, that's a little bit different. I might, if we find a way to be able to sit and enjoy beauty and peace and love together, maybe I could be convinced, but I'm not looking for it right now because my life is full of beautiful things that I enjoy. And because I make skill-based money, I can be out in the middle of the day watching other people struggle to row their boats. This actually this was what's this, January? This was January. This is what I spent my time doing. My life is full. My life is full of beautiful things. I am not asking anyone's permission to have time off. If I want to take a vacation in the middle of the day, I do this. It's Blue Heron Lake, San Francisco. I think I said that. If I want to be here in the middle of the afternoon, I am. I don't need to have to check in with anybody else. And I would meet someone who was into the same things that I am, the Chinese pavilion, and be able. Someone could walk along beside me if he was fitted. But I'm 5'3". Got to come up to my height, but he doesn't have to be taller than that. It would not have to be about, do I think he's going to be able to make this much or this much in the job market? Although I do have certain requirements on that too, because, we live in San Francisco, California. So, and I'm going to have to be here for a little while because, um, okay, computer, don't do it. Nope. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. It wouldn't have to be about that upside. And then I have to put him through confidence with love's vetting process and see if he survived it. But I'm not looking for that right now because I don't have to. There is no monetary reason that I will ever. I am a daughter of the Most High God. He does not need to have some mortal man take over providing for me. So I will be able to sit back and look at the height of his character and whether he can survive Auntie Love's vetting process. Because I'm going to learn that I have my own processes. A lot of people would fall out in the first stage. Some of our things overlap. Kiana Footman has her own vetting process. If y'all are not watching Level Up Single Mom, you need to catch her last video. And then Auntie Love has her vetting process. But it is the height of his character. Because I'm not looking at how long his money is and whether or not he's upset and eat up about, well, I'm not 6 feet tall, so women don't like me. Duh. Ooh. There's one thing I cannot abide. It is a whining man. It's just like, it's not your height that deselected you, sir. It's your whining boyhood attitude. Grow up away from me. Just go. Cannot endure it. The height of a man's character. So we've talked about, okay, skill-based money. So you don't get left in the lurch either way. So that you can afford to take your time and vet these men. And I keep saying, skills-based money. I keep mentioning Black women's channels. Black women build wealth. Black women making money. Mocha Mommy. Samry Bliss. Black Girl Stocks. Stephanie Perry. Piggy Girl Travels the World. Rashida Dow. And the Exodus Summit gets you information from all three. Marissa Price, Lifting as We Climb. Confidence with Love, Before You Take a Vetting 101. And that's LUV, because I have people looking at Confidence with LUV Love. You need to take her Becoming a Self-Confident Woman course first as a prerequisite so that you're actually able to understand the foundation of why you have a right to vet. And then there's me. And I'm going to keep saying this because what is it that I'm talking about? I'm talking about you having skill-based money. I'm saying you are $5 away from learning how to invest in an environment that would have brought your money up 16% this week at this side of the cycle. But if you don't understand what the crypto cycle is, you're $5 away from finding out what that is. And then True Mystique also benefits, who did this wonderful cover, who did the genius of doing this wonderful cover and helping this book be more understandable to you by doing some editing and having me put a glossary in it. You are this close to being able to understand how to work in markets where you can benefit without having to sit around and be worried about what someone else is doing and what they have to say and how they feel about how God made them 5'9" or 6'9". Because the problem is you got men over 6 feet, particularly if they have six figures and a six pack. Well, if you get a man who has six figures, is over 6 feet tall, has a six pack and makes six figures, you do know This is a joke, but sometimes men like that do think like this because they realize, oh, see, they listen to the same stuff. I'm top. He ought to be able to do what I want with it. 666. That's the man of sin you dealing with. A man who is going to make God making him over 6 feet tall and allowing him to have a good job and to have time to work out, a reason for him to pick up STDs and side babies and spread them around. So you don't have to deal with any of that. Learn how not to be desperate for resources and get on with your life. For real though. So that you can look at the height of his character. You can look at the height of his gentleness toward you. You can look at the height of his reputation on how he treats black women and children. And forget the rest of this. Because none of that matters. Like I said in the last video, I don't want to see another black woman get beat down a hall and not feel like she can leave. I don't want to see another black woman in a job that is killing her slowly and then come home to a situation. Tired of it. I've done what I can. I'm doing what I can to make sure that doesn't happen. The rest is up to you. I just hope I can encourage you. And yeah, gentlemen, as you can see, not all black women discriminate. I dated from 5'4" to 6'3". When I went with are the ones who pursued me correctly of any height. Word up. Okay, gentlemen, word up. And you too can go learn how to make skill-based money. You just got to humble and go learn. Now, Anthony O'Neill comes to mind, and Tony Gaskins comes to mind. There's some people who have some good ideas on how you do that. Sir Walter Jones, Generational Wealth for Black Americans playlist. That may be a separate channel. I don't remember. But I can think of those three in particular. You also can go skill up. And also, this is a different video too, but y'all don't be afraid to learn from people of different races. If you sign up for my crypto newsletter, you will find that I include a lot of information from people of different races just because the other races are more ahead in crypto than we are. And internationally, in African Americans, at least as far as Hive is concerned, we are being outcompeted. We are being outrun in droves. Our African cousins and our Caribbean cousins are running circles around African Americans in this area. So you got to humble down and be willing to learn from other groups of people. Men have to humble down in particular and learn from women. And then there's a few of you women who are like, I don't really want to hear anything from a man. There are more men in crypto than women. So you have to be willing to follow knowledge. Maybe that's a separate video. But you have to be humble enough to follow wisdom wherever it finds you so that you can get these skills and we can move on and be ready for the times to come. All right. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. That may be an on the climb today. This wind has really been doing what it does in the spring and really carrying on. But if I can find a spot out of the wind that's comfortable, there may be an on the climb today, depending on what else is going on that I want to talk about. All right. Y'all have a good day now. Goodbye.